Hey y'all, Nikki here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Deck the Halls Part 2. So instead of just the photos, we're gonna rearrange my living room. So I wanna move my bookcase and I wanna rearrange the mirror. And here are the photos that I'm gonna be putting up in the haul. The photos that I had outlined in the first video. But before we do the photos, let's rearrange this furniture. So here's my living room right now, my living room / workspace. I want to move the bookcase from where it is on the left to where it is on the right. Here's the hallway where we're going to be putting the pictures up and the fabric wallpaper. But first, let's get to this living room. So this is my living room right now. I want to move this mirror that's in my other workroom. This big mirror that we're looking at, yeah, I want to move this out into the living room. And I want to move the bookcase. So it's just going to be, we're going to do a nice little do-si-do. So here we go. Set up the camera so you guys can see. Move all of this stuff out of the way. Those are my patterns and things like that. These some photo frames that I haven't found a place for yet. And let's just empty out this bookcase. Now the bookcase I have games on it. I have some of like my good history books. I have like anthology series of stories, short stories, things like that. But yeah, I'm just keeping everything in the same shelf that it is. So I'm just putting everything here, laying it out on the table, trying to get my bearings so that way I could just move this bookcase one time. I would have moved the bookcase with the books on it if I was bold enough, but I wasn't feeling like going through all of that. So we're just gonna take everything off and move it over. I like where the bookcase is now, like where I'm putting it, because I feel like it just flows better, like with the couch. Like I could sit on the couch and have my little lamp or whatever over my shoulder, so it's a better reading corner than where the bookcase was originally. You know, I put this bookcase there when I first moved, but now, you know, after being in the space for a bit, I'm just like, all right, I kind of like the bookcase in a different area. So I'm just here. You see me just sweeping and mopping the area, just giving it a good scrub down because books been sitting there for the past year and change and it's kind of dusty. And yeah, just wanted to freshen it up. Okay, here I am moving the big mirror out of the way. And these were some grids that I have from, like, when you see the grids on the right side behind my computer, behind my sewing machine. That's like what I use when I vend and stuff. So here I am making space for the bookcase on the other side of the couch. Again, sweeping up, clearing out this area, just freshening up the area. In that trunk, I have all of my like plants, gardening, all of my stuff, like all of my stuff to do with my plants, plant care, dirt, all that stuff is in that trunk. So that's why I just want to keep everything together. And on top of the trunk, I have another under the bed box that I need to put together, and some, it looks like a curtain rod, an extra curtain rod that they sent by accident. Anyway, so I moved the bookcase. Here I am restocking the bookcase. I'm gonna do this as quickly as possible. Everything is sped up. This is like 8 times the speed. Maybe this one isn't 8 times the speed. I don't know why it's looking so slow. This looks like in real time. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is very like I said, I like it better. I like the bookcase better on this side because it just flows better with the couch and the lamp. Like everything just fits better. So here I am just putting the books back. And y'all can skip through this. I mean, it's not much to skip through, but I'm just putting the books back. And I have, I mean, if I really wanted to nerd out, I could put these books in some type of order. Like right now I have them by like, I have like narrative, historical anthology, religious stuff, like all of them, like world religion, I would call it, rather than just like, it's not like Christianity. World religions, astrology, esoteric studies, that type of stuff. Then I also have like nonfiction things like grant writing and skincare. So yeah, here I am just putting my books back. It already feels better already. I just love the bookcase on this side of the room. It's just making everything just feel more like, yeah, this is the area where I sit and read. And then the mirror being on the other side of the couch, it just opens up the space a lot. So here I am putting books back, and I don't really have much to say right now. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. I got 123 subscribers. I really appreciate it. I have some more videos that I'm going to be working on. Like I have a plant video coming up, like a little plant tour to talk about my plants, and you know, I haven't named all of them yet, so maybe we could do that together. And then also like my gaming stuff. I've been meaning to buy a capture card so that way I could really go in with my game content. But yeah, I've been playing Stardew Valley. I've been playing Code of the Lamb. Those two games have been taking up most of my time. I'm on year 3 in Stardew Valley, so that's very promising. I just haven't figured out the fishing mini game yet. Like I'm just terrible at the fishing game. So if you have any tips, if you play Stardew Valley, and you have any tips for the fishing mini game, help a sister out because I am struggling. That's the last thing that I need to finish for my community center to get the community center done. It's the freaking fish tank. So I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, still here putting books away. This is sped up, by the way. I don't know why. I mean, I could have cut some of this stuff out, but this is sped up. Putting these books together, putting books back. Yeah, again, these are like my reference books, like my Reader's Digest sewing book. I don't know if that's the one that I got originally from my Nana or if that's one that I bought myself, but I grew up with that book. Like, that's just like a staple in the crib. So yeah, just doing the last minute cleanup, resettling everything, putting again, that basket has all of the sewing, has all of the gardening stuff and the pots and all of that stuff like that. All right, that looks a little too close. You see me looking like, I need to reconfigure this. It just looks a little too close. Anyway, here we go. Here it is, and here I am moving the couch to a better position. I like that. Yeah. Put the lamp back. Put the pillow. The pillow's on the couch. I think right now the pillow's on the floor. Is what it is. I just like it. I like it better like this. I like the bookcase and the mirror in the new placement. See, doesn't it look nice? It looks lovely. Okay. And yeah, here's our mirror. Everything looks good. Now let's move on to these photos in this hallway. So I'm getting my tape measure out because I want to make sure that the pictures hang in the right way. So I need to make sure that I'm measuring the hang. I don't know the right terminology for it, but this is what I'm using. This is my hardware that I got. I got 2 different types of picture hanging hardware. My tape measure, my hammer. That's it. That's all I got. And this is my notebook, just so that way I could keep track of the position of things, how much I want stuff to hang, and blah blah blah. Yeah. All right, here I am getting my bearings, trying to figure out, okay, you see, I'm gonna measure from the edge of the frame to the hole, so that way I can know where to put the hardware on the wall. That's the only way I could explain it. I don't know. You're gonna see me do it in a few minutes, but it's just like, just doing that, just measuring, making sure that everything is not, I want stuff to be as centered as possible, not hanging wonkily, all that stuff. I'm putting pictures in their frames, putting a little tape to secure it, put the back on, boom, boom, boom. I feel like, I think I got the gold frames from the Dollar Tree, actually. The black frames I got off Amazon and Blick, the gold frames I got from the Dollar Tree. So here I am matching up the sizes of the paper to the photos and making sure the orientation is right and making sure that, you know, everything is gonna hang in the right place. So here, this is super, super, super duper sped up. I started off with this picture. That's me as a baby with my dad. And then the picture that's gonna go right under it is his grandmother, my great grandmother, Gwenny. Which I don't know, I just felt, I'm trying to tell a little story here with these matriarchs and these family pictures. Yeah, so that's Jamaica. And then we move over to the Black American side of all of the women that I come from. That's my other great grandmother. I I have 3 of my great grandmothers on this wall. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Yep, that's Martha. And then I got, who's up top? I'm watching it like I'm not in the hallway looking at my own stuff. Oh, and then my mom and my grandmother and my mom and her 2 sisters, right? So that's all of Martha's girls on top of Martha, right? Then we have Aunt Maggie. That's the aunt that is responsible for bringing all of us up from South Carolina to Brooklyn in the 1920s. She was friends with Mary McLeod Bethune, a little Black history right there. And she thought Frederick Douglass was a womanizer, and she didn't really care for him that much. It's Aunt Maggie Wyatt, eBay. So yeah, she's going right here. I love this picture of her. She's like, this picture's been copied and reprinted so many times, but like I don't care. Like I just love it. She's like, just has this look on her face, like she just doesn't give a, you know. And she has like a pinky ring, and you could just tell that she was just like hot shit. Like a pinky ring. This picture is literally from like the 1890s or something, you know. Like she was a young ting in this picture. Yeah, I love this picture. And then who's next? Oh, that's a picture. It's gonna be a picture of me and my mom. I think we went to, I took my mom to Aruba a few years ago when she was in school for massage therapy. She got straight A's, and I had a little bit of money in my pocket. I thought I was somebody, so I was like, I'll take my mother to Aruba. I took my mother to Aruba. Yep, hanging up this picture. So yeah, I can narrate all of the pictures, but honestly, it's just me, again, measuring from the edge of the photo to the hole or the hanging, like the highest point of the hanging hardware on the frame, and then putting it in the hook in the right place. That's it. That's all I'm doing. It seems more meticulous than what it is. It's really not. I swear to God, it's really not. And I like the pictures like spaced together like this, but being that I do have a lot of space on top, like a lot of negative space between the ceiling and the top of these photos, I want to look at some other frames to figure out how I could put some more art to kind of fill the wall, because I like the idea of the wall being filled, but I don't know if it has to be necessarily photos like this, but I definitely want some bigger art pieces to go on the top to kind of anchor everything. But I just love this like little section of family members, matriarchs especially, on the wall. So yeah, this is it. You guys can watch me put up the rest of these pictures, and yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Like I said, I'm just measuring from the edge and then putting my hardware where the top of the hanging is, doing it on the paper, and then going in finally with my final hits, so that way I can hang my photos. That's it. It's not rocket science, y'all. It really isn't. I mean, I'm saying this as somebody who spent 9 years in the art department, so I get it. Like, this stuff is kind of second nature to me. But I'm telling you, if you're watching at home and like, oh, I can't hang my own pictures, you very well can hang your own pictures. I think using the paper is a very good method, so that way you don't put holes in your wall unnecessarily, and you kind of could test for placement and space, space things the way you want them. But yeah, it's pretty easy. I procrastinated on this because I'm a procrastinator. But this truly is not something that should take me all day, right? So if you're watching this video 3 weeks later, this is in real time, honestly. Like I probably shot this maybe 2 weeks ago, but I'm just now getting around to cutting and editing it. But the fabric wallpaper portion, I literally just did that today. So I was like, all right, let me do this today so I can shoot it and get it up. That's it. Outsmarting yourself, all 2025. Okay, here I am making the cornstarch wallpaper paste. I didn't measure shit. Excuse my French. I ain't measure nothing. I got a saucepan. I got some water in the kettle. Put the water from the kettle. Put enough cornstarch until your ancestors whisper enough. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to add more water. I'm just tell you that right now. This is a good amount of cornstarch. You're gonna have to keep on adding. You're gonna have to add more water. Because we're gonna put heat to it, and as it's heating up, it's gonna thicken up. And I left it for a little bit unattended just because I kept on, like, it was just taking too long and I just needed to come back and let it be thick. So you're gonna see a break. When I come back, it's gonna be like super thick. So right now, this is me just starting it off with water. Just water, warm water, and cornstarch. Warm water and cornstarch. All right, I'm mixing. I might have been mixing maybe about 5 minutes to start. And then I went and sat down for another 5 minutes. And you're gonna see it after the jump. You're gonna see like it's gonna be super thick, super chunky, and it's gonna look like unworkable almost, but it's fine. It's cornstarch. The beauty of cornstarch is that you just add more water. That's it. You don't gotta do nothing fancy. You just add more water. So, see, I'm stirring. Right? It has to be thick. It has to be like a paste. Right? You look how thick that is. That's 5 minutes of sitting on the stove unattended. So now I'm coming back and I'm vigorously adding more water, stirring. Adding more water, stirring. That's it. And you're gonna get to a point where it has to feel like almost like a lotion consistency, like a heavy lotion, like a cream. You want it thick because this is what you're gonna put on the wall. And this is what the material is going to stick to. If it's too runny, if it's too watery, it's not going to, the fabric is not going to stick. You need it to have a little bit of weight. And I feel like the thicker your fabric is, the thicker you need the paste to be, if that makes sense. So I'm using like an African print. And if you're familiar with fabrics, you know that African wax print kind of has a little heft to it. So this got to be thick to hold, it has to match the weight of the whatever it is you're putting on the wall. So if you're using a really thin fabric, you can most likely get away with a thinner solution. But if you're using a heavier fabric, you need something that's gonna have a little heft to it. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. It's the only way. So here I am stirring. This is almost like the consistency of like farina. I wanna say cream of wheat, a little watery, but again, as it cools down, it's gonna get thick. And you're gonna stir as you're using it with the brush. And I'm using a dye brush and a dye bowl. But you can use a paintbrush. I'm using the dye brush because that's what I had. All right. So here I am. I'm just wiping that's the old cornstarch that I had put my first run. Everything was too thin. So I'm like, let me just wipe this down. Give it like a fresh surface. I'm just wiping it down. This is plain water. I didn't put no soap or anything on the sponge, just plain water. And here I am, coming back on my fabric. Okay. Oh, and I went to go get my, you're gonna see me go off camera. I went to go get my spray bottle because the spray bottle with the water helps with the fabric. Like, you don't want the fabric to be too dry. You don't want it to be soaking wet, but you don't want the fabric to be too dry either. So I'm just putting on a layer. Again, I'm working quickly because it's gonna, I don't want it to dry as I'm working with my fabric. So I'm just kind of like working quick. There are gonna be some lumps. If you see lumps, don't worry about it. You can always smooth those out by hand. I'm not, trying to be perfect with this because it's my house. I do what I want. And I just want this up. So again, while it's still damp, you can reposition it. If you put the fabric in a place that you don't feel like you want it to stay, ultimately you can shift it. Like, as long as it's still damp, as long as it's still moist, you can move it around, right? So I'm just coating the whole surface here. And now you're gonna see me, all right, you can see where I started to put the fabric before. So I'm just following that. You see the cornstarch on the back, so I just want to make sure that I'm putting the cornstarch to the cornstarch essentially, and I'm just trying to just find the placement. And it's not perfect. Some of the sides is lifted up, some of it shifted down. That's what the water bottle's for. The water bottle's gonna come in and save the day. Watch. I'm just smooth, and look how it just stuck. Right? I'm telling you, the first time that I did it, it was too thin. So you have to make sure that the texture is really thick, to go with the weight of the fabric. So here I am with my continuous spray water bottle that I usually use for my hair, and you're just spraying it. And don't worry about the discoloration. Like, you're gonna see like some parts of the fabric get a little bit darker. It's fine. And I'm just going in, touching up the edges as I'm noticing, certain edges are lifted. I want to make sure that it's perfectly slicked down. I'm just spraying it with some water, and again, working out the lumps, working out the wrinkles, working out the creases, all of that stuff. Get the corners. Just want to make sure I get the corners. Get them good. And yeah, we're done with that first one. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. It just adds something to the hallway. It just punches it up a bit, right? Because I'm not painting this. I'm not putting no paint on these walls. So if it's not art or this fabric, I don't know what we're gonna do. This is what we got to work with right now. And here we are working on this is the closet door. That first door was the bathroom door. This is the closet door. And again, working through the lumps, you know, it's lumpy. And the good part is that it's an easy cleanup. So if you notice that there's cornstarch falling on the floor, whatever, it don't matter. Let it dry a little bit, then come and sweep it up. And then give it a quick mop, you know, if you feel like you want to give it a little mop. But I'm just making sure that this is evenly spread. You know, I'm using the brush to kind of push the lumps out you know, before I put it on the door. I'm just making sure that the lumps are squeezed out. And that's it. This is real straightforward, y'all. This is like, I did this in my old apartment. It stood up for years. Like, and then when I went to peel it off, it just comes right off. And if you really want to peel it off, you just spray it down with some water and just make it wet again, and then it'll just peel up easily. You can peel it dry, but you can also just spray it down with water, and then everything comes right off. And you can rewash the fabric, use the fabric. It's fine. It's just cornstarch. It's so dope. So here I am, just spraying it, and we're gonna get them edges down. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more cornstarch, possibly in some areas when it's lifting. And that's that. You gotta work quick because it dries fast. But the good part, like I love a quick craft. I really do. I love I can get this done in 15 minutes or less. Copy. I'm doing it. So here I am, just spraying the edges, getting everything together, spraying them edges. And that's that. We're done. Look at that. Real cute. Now the hallway feels a little bit, you know, I still have a lot more art that I want to add here on the right, but we're going to come back to that. For right now, I'm happy with this, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.